Hi, I'm Kim Thompson-Pinder, award-winning speaker, international best-selling author, the extraordinary word ninja, and chief visionary officer of RTI Publishing. And welcome to Author to Authority podcast. I'm excited to be starting this podcast where I'll have amazing guests on who will make powerful differences in the lives of those they touch, either personally or professionally. They will share with you some of their best tips for living life successfully and to the fullest. Many of them will also be authors who are going to share with you their writing journey on how becoming an author has changed their lives. Now, one of the reasons why I started this podcast is to show you that it is possible for anyone to become an author and share their message with the world. My writing destiny was derailed for over 30 years by a teacher who told me when I was 7 years old that I should not write and that I was not any good at it. I know, horrible. Those are words that should never come out of a teacher's mouth, but there were circumstances around it. When I was 4 years old, my mother died of cancer. It was a very rough time in my life, and I soon realized that I was now different from every other kid I knew except my sister. When I entered school, I was picked on because I only had a dad. Now, thankfully, he was amazing. I don't have the sob story of my mother died and my dad was a drunk. He was the exact opposite. After my mother died, many family members and friends told my dad that there was no way that he could raise two girls by himself. And he told them to either take a flying leap or help him because he was raising his girls. Now, as great as my dad was, he wasn't a woman. He wasn't my mother. And my 7-year-old little heart just really cried out to have that female affirmation, to have a woman tell me that I was good and that I was special and that I was worthy. And so in grade 2, I had that female teacher, and she was beautiful and she was smart and she was kind and she was all of the things that I wanted to be when I grew up. And in my mind, she became my mother, and I would imagine her being married to my dad and coming home with me every night and taking care of me. And so I clung to her like glue. I was very emotionally needy. And now in grade 2, another thing happened. I was finally able to put down in words what my imagination had been telling me forever, and all the stories that had been going through my brain, I could now finally put in print. And I remember the first time that I wrote the story, and I came up and I showed my teacher, and I handed it to her, and she told me how great it was. Well, that was all this little 7-year-old heart needed. And I began to write and write and write and write and write and write every single day. And I was handing her pages and pages and pages, and I wanted her to read it and tell me how good I was. But there was no way with a class of 30 kids that she had time to do that every single day. And I'm pretty sure back in the late 60s, early 70s, they didn't have university courses in teachers' college on how to deal with emotionally needy, grieving 7-year-old little girls. Pretty sure. Not even sure if they have that today. And so she did something that wasn't good. She told me those words, "I'm not a good writer. Please stop writing." And that derailed my destiny for a very long time. Now, obviously, I didn't stop completely writing. I mean, I did graduate from high school. So, I always wrote my assignments and did that. And I was actually pretty good at English. But I never wrote the words that were in my heart, the words that I really wanted to write, the stories I wanted to write, the things I wanted to teach people. And so I became an adult, got married, had 2 great kids. And I became an entrepreneur as a way of working from home and being able to stay home with my kids and still make money at the same time. And in 2011, I got an opportunity to get a website. And I was so excited. My own website. And somebody was going to do all the work for it. All I had to do was just take advantage of it. And I remember the gentleman emailed me and he said, Kim, your website and your blog's ready. And I thought to myself, and I wrote back to him, I'm like, what's a blog? And he's like, oh, you write things that teach people. And of course, as soon as I heard that, that was it. There was no way. I had hit the crossroads. And all the words that were going through my heart was, you're not a good writer. Do not write. And to make a very long story short, I had to choose to let go of those words, and I had to forgive that teacher. And that started my process, and I started writing blog posts. And then within a year or so, I knew I needed to write books. And on another podcast, I will share that story because I came so close so many times to never writing that first book. But if I can conquer my fears and start to write, so can you. And I hope that the stories that you'll hear on this podcast will encourage you to do so. On each 20 to 30 minute episode, you will not only hear their inspiring life stories, but learn how to successfully navigate this thing called life. I love to give things away that help others. If you want to learn how to speak and write in a way that attracts high-paying clients, then get my free copy of PowerWords at www.powerwords.pro/freebook. In it, I show you how to speak and write in a way that makes people curious about you and wanting to know more about how you can help them. You will learn how to introduce yourself in a unique way that leaves the listener wanting to know more. So don't wait. Get your free copy at www.powerwords.com/freebook. Thanks for listening. Make sure that you come back for the next episode where I'll be interviewing the famous author Bob Burg, co-author of the Go Giver series. In it, he's going to share how you can give and build a successful, impactful business both at the same time. This is Kim Thompson-Pinder of the Author to Authority podcast. Make sure you subscribe so that you do not miss one exciting episode, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.